Hey, what's up triathletes? Taren here. Today I'm going to give you 5 triathlon training facts that just might mess with your head, play with your noodle, cook your goose, bake your brain, get you all messed up, and in general ruin a lot of things that you thought you knew about triathlon training. Stick around. The first thing that I'm going to tell you about triathlon training that might change what you thought you knew is that kicking is stupid. For triathlon, you barely have to kick in the swim. Yeah, that's right. Kicking only amounts to about 10 to 15% of your total propulsion, and that's even for a good swimmer. Most age group athletes fall even far lower than that 10 to 15% range. So even if you get, say, 50% faster with your kick propulsion, you might only be getting 1 or 2% faster overall. Legs are the biggest muscle group in your body, so if you're kicking really hard, you're going to be going through a ton of oxygen and tiring yourself out a lot. So kicking really hard, doing kick sets, working on flexibility in your ankles, strength in your ankles, it's not really the best use of your time. What you should be working on with your kick is figuring out how to do as little of a kick as you can to get your body to float up in the water and give you enough kick to roll side to side. That's all you need to do and not much more. And you're going to find out very quickly when you start swimming with a wetsuit that a lot of that work is already done for you. The second thing I'm going to tell you to mess with your brain, sticking with swimming, is that swimming harder won't actually make you faster.
No way!
Now before all the engineers in the crowd start waving their hands and screaming, Taren, that's impossible, that's not how physics works. What I'm talking about is triathletes approaching the swim with the same method that they approached the run and the bike. And what I mean by that is on those two sports, when you push harder, you go faster. It's just the way it works. That isn't how it works in swimming, especially if you're a new triathlete. And swimming is not like cycling and running where the harder you go, the faster you go. It's more like yoga or Tai Chi, where the technique of the sport matters a lot more than the fitness that you're putting into it. When new triathletes who haven't yet figured out a proper swimming technique start pushing harder, what they end up doing is thrashing a lot more, and they lose a proper catch in the water. They lose their control of the water, they lose their balance in the water. So when you're starting out in triathlon learning to swim, first focus on technique, getting a proper catch, learning how to float, learning how to balance and roll side to side in the water, and then once you've got that down, then you can work on swimming harder. The third thing that I'm going to tell you to bake your brain is that you shouldn't be using gels or chews. How many of you, and be honest, have taken gels, chews, or a sports drink for a 45-minute run? You really only need to be taking on any sort of calories if you're going longer than an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. Any shorter than that, and your body has more than enough built up energy in the form of calories, fat deposits, glycogen in your muscles to get you through that length of workout very, very easily. And using those quick access energy sources like gels, chews, sports drinks, it's very sugary, so your body ends up preferring to use that. And if you're using it for every single workout, you're training your body to not access your body's internal energy stores. You become reliant on that sugar, your body doesn't know how to burn fat, so you probably gain weight. And then the biggest issue of all is that your body can't actually access its own energy stores in dire situations. So if you ever mess up and you don't take any of those quick release energy sources like gels, chews, and sports drinks, you're risking a big time bonk. So for all workouts, make sure you're taking enough fluid, but unless you're going longer than an hour 15, hour and 20 minutes, certainly push it and see how your body can adapt to getting through those shorter workouts on its own energy stores. Don't go making a stop in Bonk City. The fourth thing that might mess you up is that running a lot probably isn't going to make you a faster triathlon runner. Running after a bike is a completely different thing than pure running. There was once a study done where Kenyans were brought into a triathlon to see if real, true, pure, well-trained runners could get off the bike and still maintain some of the speed that they had in a pure running race. And what do you think happened? Every one of them had a disastrous race. Running after a bike might as well be an entirely different sport from just running on a straight road race. And if all you're doing is logging long garbage miles just to get running miles and running time into your legs, you're not going to have a very good triathlon. You're going to cramp after the bike, and you're probably going to be walking a lot during that triathlon. You can solve this really, really easily by doing at least a half a dozen brick workouts that simulate the transition going from the bike to the run as quickly as possible. Ideally, you want to do one of these a week, almost throughout the entire year, but at very least, if you're getting ready for your first triathlon, do 6 of these. And the last triathlon training tip that I'm going to tell you that is just going to ruin your day is that aero isn't everything. And I know a lot of you are saying, but Taren, aero bikes, aero helmets, and aero wheels, and specialized in wind tunnels. And all the pros are worried about aero. Aero. Yeah, I get it. Aerodynamics in itself is a very good thing. Where it ends up becoming an issue is where people focus only on aerodynamics and not overall bike comfort and fitness. If all you're thinking about as you're setting up your bike is how to get as low and aerodynamic as humanly possible, you're going to definitely put yourself into a situation that, unless you're a 7th level Bikram yogi master.
Remember, we're seeing this 6-foot man get inside this tiny box of 20 inches. This is truly remarkable.
You aren't going to be able to get into that position with any sort of power. Even pro triathletes like Jan Frodeno have brought their bodies up because they found that A, it made them more powerful, and B, bringing them up actually made them more aerodynamic because they were able to stay in that aero position longer. In a worst case scenario, you might be putting your body into a position that is so far beyond your natural limits that you could injure yourself. The best aero position on the bike is one that you can hold for the entire duration of your race without getting up. And that's different for everyone, so I cannot stress enough, get a proper bike fit. If you're fitting your bike at home, you're doing it wrong. If you're fitting your bike at a bike shop and all they're doing is basically eyeballing you, you're doing it wrong. You want to go to a bike fit specialist who's been trained at body assessment and proper bike setup to everyone's individual capabilities. Your body will thank you. So there you go, triathletes. Those are 5 triathlon training tips that go against a lot of what we think we know and hopefully messed with your head, set you on a straight path. I was on a very crooked path with every single one of these tips not very long ago. Let me know in the comments below just how much this messed with your brain. As always, happy and hard training out there, and good luck in your triathlon races.